So tight crosshairs, fast fire rate, and even tighter crosshairs with the laser. The MTAR-21 is a beast. It's a monster up close. It's great from the hip. Imagine if the M5K actually worked and killed and had a bigger magazine. At first, I didn't really like this weapon. I saw it in expansion. I figured, whatever, I tried. But it's turned me around a lot. You don't need the laser on this weapon, but I use it just because I don't see a reason to shoot this, to aim this down sights most of the time. It's a straight monster from the hip, and it's easy to control, even though it has a really fast fire rate. It's like they reinvented the FAMAS, except it's not OP. The iron sights aren't too bad. So when you first get this weapon, the iron sights aren't too big of a hurdle to jump. You can make it through it no problem. I didn't find them to be an issue for me, but of course I put my favorite sight up here, the red dot. A lot of people might prefer the Cobra, but so take whatever sight you like, put it on this weapon, and you're good to go. It has a steady fire rate, but it's kind of jumpy, especially at a distance, and it might tend to get away from you if you're not careful. So instead of a long burst, I kind of like to pop fire this one just like quickly. But you might want to tone it down. You might want to pop fire it kind of slow, just to get the shots on target. You don't really need the grip. The side to side isn't terrible, so you don't really need it. And you want to get as many shots on target as you can. Even though it shoots fast and drops people real quick, you still want to get as many shots on target as you can. So you want to make sure your accuracy is paramount. If you're having a problem with distance, which I did, I'll admit I had a real problem with distance on this weapon. This weapon really shines up close. The distance issue can be mitigated by using maybe the heavy barrel or the flash compressor. Flash compensator. The heavy barrel, with my experience with the heavy barrel, it's an absolute monster. The heavy barrel will hit everything at medium ranges. It won't do anything at long range. Nothing will really help this weapon at long range, and I don't advise you to ever use it at any type of long range. But the heavy barrel is perfection on this weapon at any type of medium range. Like, you really can't miss. You're going to get a lot of double kills, especially with this incredible fire rate. And for some reason, I don't really notice the recoil jump when I have the heavy barrel on. The flash compensator, on the other hand, that will help you with the recoil, so it can help you with your distance shots a little more. So it's kind of up to you what you want to use to deal with mid-range engagements. But once you get one of these two attachments, the mid-range belongs to you now. Like I said, the weapon jumps a lot of range, so you might want to pop fire and might want to tone it down to like a medium to slow pop fire instead of a fast one like I use. But this weapon is incredibly versatile now. I really didn't notice it till I started to unlock things with it. It can fit so many different roles. I mean, there really isn't a bad attachment so far. It has so much room to work with. You can go from close to medium range engagements, no problem. You can customize it to your liking, and it really doesn't fail. I used the suppressor with this weapon, and it did well. It still performed well. I'd say short to maybe half medium range. It did very well with suppressor. It still managed to have a good killing time. The only time I really ran into problems was when maybe I ran into the M4. It's just not better than the M4. Nothing is better than the M4 in the engineer class. There's nothing you can do about that. The M4 and maybe one of the faster PDWs like the P90 might give you some problems. But this weapon shines with almost anything. It's good with the suppressor, good with the flash compensator, and it's incredible with the heavy barrel. It's good with the red dot, even though it doesn't even need the red dot because the crosshairs are so tight. The red dot just makes it even more ridiculous. A good secondary is a necessity for this weapon. I like to go, when I use a fully auto weapon, I like to use a fully auto secondary. Reason being, I don't like to go from auto to semi and have to, kind of slow the energy down, and it kind of messes with me when I play. So I like to use auto secondaries with my auto weapons, and you'll see me using like semi-auto secondaries with like sniper rifles. And so I tend to use the Glock 18. But a good secondary is necessary because it fires so fast, and you're going to be switching to your secondary when you run into multiple people. And then you also have the benefit of having a tertiary weapon because you're an engineer. So you got a rocket launcher. You got your main weapon, you got a secondary, and you got a rocket launcher. Make sure you got the right rocket launcher, because I always run around the javelin and end up pulling that out by mistake when I should have the RPG. But I never really leaned towards the engineer category. I never really liked the engineer's weapons. I didn't really like the play style that provided. And plus, I play a lot of TDM, so I really didn't have a need for the engineer. The engineer, shines in more team-oriented games, rush games with weapons in them, games with vehicles, things like that is where the engineer shines. And me, I always ran support when I had to deal with vehicles, because support could blow the hell out of a vehicle quickly. But with the TAR, I played a couple of rush games with the TAR. I played a couple of TDM games. I played a couple of conquest games with the TAR. It's a straight monster in every single setting. Every time I ran into someone in rush one-on-one, I beat them. I beat them no problem. The TAR spits out rounds so quickly. The only weapon that's really better than it is the M4. And I like this weapon because I've never been able to find a real go-to weapon for the engineer class. I like the Scar H, but it had 20 rounds, and it had extended mags. I like the I forgot the other one, the one that's built kind of like the FAMAS. I like that one as well. The ACR is good as well. But yeah, the TAR kind of feels like my new go-to weapon for the engineer. I like the way it feels. Once you get the hang of it, there's really no beating you. Like, it has a bit of a learning curve in the beginning, but once you kind of start to understand the recoil and you get the feel of the weapon down, and as long as you can stay on target, you'll win. Almost all the time, you will win. And if things go awry, pull out your secondary and pull out your rocket launcher. This weapon allows for quite a bit of movement, so that's a good thing. I guess since it's a bullpup and a small weapon, it benefits with the hip fire. And you won't aim down sights a lot. The hip fire on this thing is just excellent. Usually when I run into an enemy, I'll just start spraying them and then aim in and kill them. And I get a lot of double kills. Just because it fires so fast and the hip fire is so easy to manage. But once you get the hang of this weapon, once you start to understand its fire rate, once you start to understand its feel, you won't do anything but win. That's really all you can do once you get this weapon. It's a marvel, and I'm actually quite shocked by it. I didn't really expect this weapon to be this good. I didn't like the engineer weapons too much in the last expansion. I think I forgot, I don't remember what it's called, but it looks like an MP5 instead of shoots a 5.56 round. That one it's like the G53 or something like that. I like that one okay, but this one really shines, and this is like a great tool of the trade. I don't really talk about bad weapons and tools of the trade. This is a good one, and it belongs here. So if you're on Battlefield and you're playing a lot, especially if you're playing engineer a lot, you need to get this. You need to get a hold of this and really put it to the test, because I can't really think of a weapon right now off the top of my head that has this much maneuverability, that can be put in so many situations as this weapon. You can put a heavy barrel, you can put a flash compensator, you can put a suppressor, anything. Almost anything in this weapon, it sprays well from the hip, it kills fast. As long as you don't run into 4 guys, you're golden. And as long as you don't have to deal with the M4 all the time, you're golden. Yes, the M4 is the king, but this weapon is definitely the prince. I can't say enough good about this weapon. And as always, if you like this commentary, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, well, give that shit a thumbs down. I will catch you later.